Hey friends, Mahin here. When attempting to live well with chronic pain or help someone develop strategies to live well with a pain condition, there's a very important step that is often missed out. And in my experience as a chronic pain specialist physiotherapist, I've found that this is the most important step in moving forward, returning to important activities and living the life people want to lead alongside their pain. Unfortunately, because this stage in someone's journey is either skirted over or not given enough attention, I often find that my patients have gone round in circles, trying various treatments to get rid of their pain, seeing many different health professionals, and undergoing an abundance of investigations that return normal, not showing an explanation for their symptoms. This is understandably frustrating, demotivating, and gives a heavy sense of helplessness. So in this video, I'm going to let you know what 99% of people with chronic pain don't know, so you can begin moving forwards towards living the life that you want to lead. So somewhere between making sense of pain through education and developing strategies to live well with pain lies acceptance. To explain what I mean by acceptance, I'm going to use an analogy here. So I want you to imagine for a second that you're on holiday, you're sitting on the beach with your family. The weather's warm, the sea's looking really good in front of you, and it's looking quite tempting to go for a dip. Your kids want you to come and play with them in the water, so you get up. Now you know you're struggling with pain. You know that it's going to be effortful to get to the water in the first place because you've got to walk through the sand. You know that getting into the water with the force of the waves coming back is going to be difficult, but you want to be able to engage and play with your kids, so it's something that you're going to do. So you make your journey over towards the sea, and as you do so, you do feel the pain start to rise slightly. You're now in the water and you're waist deep within the water, and you can feel the waves knocking you slowly from side to side. You start to notice that your pain is starting to build up here. You're starting to feel more pain, and because of the pain, you are feeling a little bit more anxious because you know that you're in the middle of the sea, and what happens if you aren't able to get out of the sea, and all of this worry starts to build up. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine for a second that you have a beach ball, and this is all I have that's closest to a beach ball, so imagine this is a lot bigger for the purpose of this, but let's just say that you have a beach ball. Now, as your pain rises, okay, your pain is represented by the beach ball. So as your pain rises, it starts to get in the way, okay? It starts to get in front of your face, and it starts to block you from seeing anything else that's going on around you. You're struggling to see your kids, okay? You're struggling to engage with them. You're struggling to actually have fun and fully focus on being present with them because pain is just sitting here right in front of you and clouding everything else, okay? Now, this is quite a buoyant beach ball, and when we try to sometimes push that beach ball down, so we want to get rid of that pain, we want to get it out of the way, what happens is the harder we push it into the water, the quicker it bounces up. Okay, again, bang, straight in the middle, blocking your view from everything else. Now, what acceptance would say is, why don't we, rather than trying to force the ball down, why don't we learn to live with the pain, with it floating alongside us? It's still there, it's still present, but it's not here. It's still present, and it might knock into you from time to time, so you might feel it more from time to time, but it's still there. It's present, we're still engaging with other things with it. We're not trying to force it to get rid of it. We're not trying to push it down at all. We're just living alongside it. This is what acceptance would suggest that we do, okay? Now, obviously that's great in theory. In practice, it's a lot harder than that. And acceptance is one of the biggest shifts that needs to happen before living well with pain. And acceptance is the key but often skipped part of living a full life with pain. This is because acceptance is hard to measure, takes time, and is extremely hard when living with any long-term condition that presents with so many daily challenges, from work to relationships to important activities. But acceptance is a key and arguably compulsory step in managing pain sustainably in the long term. Because without reaching acceptance, it's extremely hard to move forward. It's common and understandable to fall into a cycle of frustration, anger, and depression when you're battling against chronic pain. And the harder you fight against it, the stronger it shows up, just like the beach ball analogy. The harder we try to push it down, the harder it bounces back up, straight back into our faces. And this is why acceptance is key. I actually don't really like the term acceptance, and I prefer a word like willingness instead, because acceptance has connotations of giving into the pain or giving up to the pain. But acceptance actually doesn't mean giving into the pain or giving up on ways to manage it. Rather, it means acknowledging that pain is part of your life and finding ways to live alongside it. Just like the beach ball analogy, where the ball is floating beside you, but it's not direct center blocking your view from the other things that are happening in life. And this can help move pain from the driving seat next to you in the passenger seat, still along for the journey, but not dictating what you can and can't do. So the absolute golden shift that takes place when reaching acceptance is when we move from a diagnosis-driven and attempting to control pain state to a goal and value-focused state of living well with pain. We move from a stage of what's the matter with me to what matters to me. And as I mentioned before, this must happen before we can move forwards. And it often involves a collaborative approach between yourself and your health professional so that they can help you identify the things that hold the most meaning and importance within your lives and help you gradually return to those things with and despite the pain being there. Often when we're waiting for the pain to be fixed before moving forwards, we're stuck in a state of waiting. And actually we aren't able to get back to the things that we enjoy because we're waiting for the pain to reduce before we do that. When in reality, actually returning to the things that matter to us the most is what helps our brain to see there is more evidence of safety rather than danger and can help with pain better in the long term. And this is really important because the more time, energy, and resources that you spend on trying to find a cause for the pain and control the pain, the less time, energy, and resources that you have to spend on the things that you love and enjoy. And to help start this shift, it's really important to reflect or help your patients reflect, if you're a healthcare professional yourself, on previous treatments tried and the long-term outcomes of these. Because this is really important because lots of treatments that you may have tried before in the past may have had a really good short-term impact, but actually in the long term have made no real difference at all. And some of these treatments can be quite expensive. So I'm thinking about private treatments like acupuncture, cupping, massages, and other things that can be expensive and may give, a short-term relief for maybe a few hours or a day or two, but then actually the pain returns the same. And we then can develop a reliance on these short-term strategies because there is no long-lasting effects of them. And it's important to identify the long-term outcomes of these treatments because it can make us see sometimes that actually the things that we've been trying haven't really been working. And actually maybe there's a different way of looking at moving forwards with the pain rather than trying to control it before we move forwards. And this is really important because struggling for pain control is the best predictor of worse pain, poorer activity or greater disability, worse depression, and greater avoidance. And although pain is reported, I actually find that most people access healthcare, whether this is through their GP or physio, because of the secondary effects of their pain. The way that I like to think about this is just imagine for a second that you're standing in front of a lake and you have a stone in your hand. This stone represents your pain. If you throw that stone into the lake, there are likely to be ripple effects. And the ripple effects are the secondary effects that the pain is now having on your life. And whether this is things like low mood, relationship troubles, problems at work which are causing financial issues, or whether this is that you aren't able to do the activities that you enjoy, poor sleep, whatever it might be. Those secondary effects of the pain are actually the reason that people try to access healthcare. If you take a look at this model that I've got up in the screen now, this is a shorthand ACT model. ACT stands for Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. And the goal of acceptance and commitment therapy is for effective living. So people move through a stage of an awareness of when the pain is influencing them, a willingness to have pain. Now, this does not mean giving into your pain or giving up on strategies to help manage it, but it's a willingness to live alongside your pain if it's going to be there anyway, and then progressing through to valued living with your pain. Going back to the previous treatments that you tried before, it's important to ask yourself the question, are these strategies to eliminate or control the pain helping me live the life that I want? Or if not, can we move forward with pain? Can we make space for it in your life if it's going to be there anyway? So remember that acceptance does not mean giving up or giving into your pain, but instead it means finding ways to thrive alongside your pain. Setting realistic goals around returning to or beginning the activities that are most important and meaningful to you can be a helpful step in living well with pain. Ask yourself this really important question. Would you rather live your life with pain or not live your life at all? If you have any helpful tips or experiences of reaching acceptance, if you're living with any chronic illness, please share these in the comments below, as I'm sure everyone will be really keen to hear about these. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. And if you found this video helpful, then you love this custom playlist that I've made that has my most popular videos for people living with chronic pain. Thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the next video.